All right, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I apologize about what was going on with our technology on Tuesday. Well, it was my technology. I just had the absolute worst tech day ever, absolutely ever. And I was trying so frantically to get in to talk with you in our class, and it didn't work out. But thank you all for coming today. I'm recording this lecture so that we can also address some of the concerns for the people who could not be here today. So first of all, everybody can hear me all right? We're good there? Can you hear me? You have to unmute your microphone to say yes. Yes. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. I see somebody saying.
Yes, we hear you.
Awesome. Thanks. And I see also some of you are typing in the chat. It's a great way to post questions, and there are some questions I know all of you were having about the midterm and about the resume assignment. And don't worry, we're about a week behind on everything because of the that week we had off and then spring break. So nobody's behind. We're all good right now. So let's catch up to where we are. So I'm going to share my screen with you and show you what's going on. So technically, we are in, I think, week 10. Let me see. Week 10. Yes, we're in week 10. We're in week 10. And that makes sense. We had the spring break last week, and then we had the class the entire week canceled because of the pandemic beforehand. And so we're just a little off. We're a little off track. Now, if you look at the syllabus, it says that the midterm is actually going to be starting online today. And we're postponing that a little bit because of the difficulties that we had on Tuesday. And so the midterm will not be available. And I'll change that right here so that we can all see this. The midterm will not be available until next Tuesday. And then you'll have, from the time that it's available, you'll have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So 2 full days, 3 full days, actually, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So 3 full days to actually take that midterm. So it will be available on Tuesday morning at a week, well, Tuesday morning, not a week from today, a week from Tuesday. So the 14th at 6 a.m. and it closes on Thursday, the 16th at 11:59 p.m. The midterm will just cover chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's another reason that we're postponing it, because you have not yet accessed chapter 4 in the Canvas. So if you go and you look in Canvas right now, I realize that all of your assessments or all of your modules are not showing. You can only see through right before spring break, I believe. Let's see. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So see, you're not seeing chapter 4. So we will absolutely get chapter 4 in there for you today, and we'll make sure that that you can review that for next week for the exam. Now, when you're taking the exam, you're welcome to have your notes open, have the book open, but you won't be able to stop and start. So once you start that exam, you have to stay in it. So if you wanted to do things like go back and review one of the videos, have that open already in a separate page, because you're not allowed to toggle between the few of them. So I see a chat, somebody here on the chat was asking the link to chapter 3 PowerPoint. Oh, there's not only the video lecture. Okay, so let's see why that's going on there. Okay, somebody here asked, Jasmine asked that you'd like to see the link to chapter 3 PowerPoint, only saw the video lecture. So let's go back and look at that, and then I'll come back and talk about the resumes. So Thomas says the same. Yeah, it looks like there's just that there. So we'll go ahead and add that to. Make sure that we have. Chapter 3 PowerPoint. Great. So another question I see here in the chat was, thank you, you're welcome. So I'm not going to go over everything right now. I'll put the link to the video. So for some of the people who came in a little bit late, but I will say that the exam is starting on Tuesday, the 14th, and the PowerPoint, I have to go in here and actually upload that PowerPoint. I'll do that. Actually, I'll do that right now while I have you here. So make sure that it's done. Chapter 3 PowerPoint. And we'll upload that right this moment. Perfect. I didn't upload it all the way. Darn it. Sorry. Take that back. So while I'm doing this, other questions? Right, other questions from everyone? Anyone? I see there's some. Actually, can you ask me the question instead of putting it in the chat feature? I don't want to keep toggling back and forth. You just have to unmute yourself.
Sorry, Professor, I was a little late. This is Thomas. The resume, that is still due on Tuesday as well, correct?
Yeah, it's also due on Tuesday, and we're going to go over that right now.
And the test is open for the one day on Tuesday, or is it going to be open a little earlier?
2 days full, and the specifics will actually be in the, you'll be able to see that in the, you'll be able to see that in the video if you go back and check the video, but you will have it open for 2 days.
So like Tuesday and Wednesday?
Yeah, so you Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and again, the specifics will be in that video, but you'll.
Thank you.
No, it's okay, Thomas. I'll go over it now since I'm talking about it. So 6 a.m. on Tuesday, all the way to 11:59 p.m. on Thursday. So again, make sure that you're not going back and forth. Once you open that test, you have to finish that test. I've had people who've, they've tried to, they think that they have the 90 minutes or whatever it is, hour and a half to take it. They'll go, they'll come back. Don't do that. Stay there. Make sure that you, get it all the way done. If you only answer 2 questions, it automatically submits it and you get, those 2 questions. So I will look at the chat, but if you.
Thank you for the clarification.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, of course, of course. So somebody else was asking about the midterm. Yeah, it's going to be on Canvas, and I'm going to show you right now where you can access it. So if you go back here, part of the reason why none of you were able to see chapter 4 is that week 10 is actually 9 and 10 is actually not showing there. I have that created. I have to upload it so that it shows to you. And so like you see these modules, week 5, 6, week 7, 8, there's one that says week 9, 10. That's where the exam is. That's also where chapter 4 video and PowerPoint is. And as soon as we're done here, you'll be able to see that there. If for any reason you cannot see the module 9-10 by tonight at 4 or 5 o'clock, please send me a message, because then something went wrong. I'm going to do that as soon as we get off of our classroom. So, all right. And like I said, the exam will be there. You'll be able to see where it is, but you won't be able to open that up until Tuesday of next week. And that's really because, well, for a number of reasons, but we want to make sure to give you plenty of time to review chapter 4 and to work on the resume assignment. So back to the resumes, where we are. Resumes, they're due on also on Tuesday of next week. You have until 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday to submit the resume. The resume assignment will also be in that week 9 and 10 module. Now, just I just want to clarify, because this might be a little confusing, because the first video on resumes is back up in week 5, 6, but just because that there still we have to upload the actual assignment down in the modules 9 and 10. So questions on that? All right. So about the resumes. The resumes, I'm very particular about the grading of the resumes. I'm pretty strict on the grading. For every 1 error in your resume, you're deducted 10 percentage points off of the total potential grade. So that means that if you make a mistake, you don't have 100% anymore, you have a 90%. If you make 2 mistakes, you have an 80%. If you make 5 mistakes, you've failed the assignment. Okay. And I know that sounds really just harsh and cruel, and the intention is not to be harsh or to be cruel, but really, sorry, I just realized my video isn't showing, but really to make sure that you don't make mistakes on your resume. This is one of those things that businesses care about. When I'm hiring employees, I will throw away a resume with more than 1 mistake. And most recruiters feel the same way. We have a lot of people to choose from when we're picking an applicant. And I don't want to pick people who haven't taken the time to really be thorough when submitting them. So watch this video on what I'm looking for in the actual assignment. And I want to make it really clear about where these recommendations are coming from. This is not just my opinion. This is based on research of existing companies and what they're looking for. So it aggregates the data of what the majority of organizations are looking for. You will find so many different videos and advice for people about making a resume, and everybody has their own opinion, but we kind of took opinion out of it, and we said, what's going to give you the highest probability of doing exactly what they're looking for, what a business is looking for, without any additional knowledge or information from them. So if they ask you, for example, for a 2-page resume, even though my video says I want a 1-page resume, of course, if you're trying to get the job, you do what that company wants. But if you don't have any information from the company, this way you'll have a resume that I hope you'll be able to use for the rest of your life as a sort of a starting point to say, okay, here's my template. This is my sort of one-size-fits-all resume, and then I'll amend it from there. So it's a 1-page resume. There's very specific instructions here in this video. It's a kind of long video. I apologize, but I'm not going to talk about it here, and you're not in class, so you get to watch it there. There's also a PowerPoint here that talks a little bit about the resumes. And then there's also this resume writing sample guide, which if you want to pretend that this is your resume, right? These are just little bullet points. That's a sort of a good way to go from there. So I see some questions from the class. Is the video recorded? This video, yeah, the class is always recorded, so you'll be able to watch it again. So other questions from the class, and I'm going to ask that maybe you talk and unmute yourself and ask any questions if you can. Instead of putting it in the chat feature, could you just ask me?
Hi, Professor.
I know everybody doesn't want to talk over each other. It's okay, I'm sorry, but don't worry. Whoever, I don't know who is first, but I know there's Thomas on there and then somebody else. Who else is there?
It was me, Kiana.
Hi, Kiana. You want to start?
I was just going to ask if there was more than 1 attempt on the test.
No.
Okay.
All right. Can I ask?
Yeah, you have the
cool. So you've been posting these extra credit assignments that are like these events as well. Do those events count as one of your 2 events you have to do if you don't want to use it as the extra credit, if you still need one of your events, or are the events the specific ones that you've put on a calendar thing?
So the reason that I put them as extra credit is because some people were saying, I already finished all my events. You first have to do your events, and any of those count for any of
Okay,
the,
any of those count.
once
Okay,
you've completed those, then they become extra credit. And there is a place for you to submit those here. Let me show you.
yeah, under quizzes, under the Canvas thing.
So if you go to quizzes,
Yeah.
in Canvas, you'll be able to see where to submit the events and the extra credit is showing
Cool.
them.
And then one other question I had, and it's also about the test. We have one attempt, but I was wondering, is there any practice tests or anything, or is it just
It's
the
not,
PowerPoints and the actual test?
but I will give you right now what we can do, sort of a practice question. I can show you a sample of a question, and we'll go through that together. So while I pull that up here, you guys can chat amongst yourselves. I'm not going to share my screen while I'm doing that, but I'll pull up a couple of sample questions to show you what they look like. You guys can talk too. You're too quiet.
Hey, Professor, I have a question.
Yeah, is this, who's this?
This is Melvin.
Oh, hey, Melvin. Sorry, I can't see.
Sorry. Are you okay with us using like a for the resume, like a resume builder website, or is there a specific format?
No, there's a very specific format. And so you don't want to use one of those templates just because using a template will, they're usually not very good. I mean, you can use a template. I would highly recommend against it. And it talks about, it talks about some of those issues in the video. So I don't know if, but I would say no. I would say don't use a template. Let me see. So I'm trying to find a question to give you guys. All right, I'll just pick this one. This is an actual question from the exam. So let me show you this. Everybody's good. Generation of texters, yep. So I'm reading the chats, if you're wondering what I'm doing. Reading your chats. You guys are all texters, aren't you? So that's great that you said that, because I am asking a question about millennials. So I know a lot of you are Gen Z, and some of you are like me, a different generation. But here's a question about generational cohorts. So in the context of today's business environment, which of the following statements is true of millennials? They tend to be self-centered. They're not comfortable working in diverse teams. I know that's true. No, right? They refer to those baby boomers who delay the retirement and continue working even beyond the age of 70. They can be trained and developed to fill the leadership gap that's being created by the retirement of boomers. Or they represent the smallest customer segment of the population. So which of those is true? Let me hear it from the class. What's that?
First one. First one.
First one? Okay, do you guys agree with Melvin? Let me hear it. Let me hear it instead of just chatting. I know you guys like to chat. I won't tell you the right answer until I've heard it from at least 3 people.
Self-centered.
Self-centered. So that's it. You guys all think it's number
The first one. The first one.
That's gracious. Okay, I'm not going to tell you the right answer.
The third one.
Okay, so I heard one person say the third one, 2 people say the first one. Any other? Oh my goodness gracious. You guys, it's not the first one. You're not self-centered. You are very comfortable working in diverse teams, right? That's total misconception about millennials. There is some, okay, I should say there's some truth to the self-centered when they are at a certain age, but that's not true in general, and definitely not in the long term. And they're very comfortable working in diverse teams. Why are they comfortable working in diverse teams? They grew up in diverse environments. They're the most comfortable of any of the other generations before them. only generations after them are more comfortable with diversity in general. And so it's 100% number three, 100% number three. They can absolutely be developed to fill those gaps, and we're hoping that they will. Now, if you look at number one, even if you were to say like the first half, which I disagree with, but the first half of the question could possibly be true, right? Just because of how old they are. But always read the entire answer. And if any of the answer is not true, then that's not the correct answer. So, yeah, you were right. It is number three. Okay, so I'm going to pick another question just to get you a little more practice. And remember, the exam is on anything we've covered so far, chapters 1, 2, 3, resumes, and cohorts, right? Okay, I'm going to stop the share while I pull up the next one.
So just everything on the first 4 chapter PowerPoints, more or less. Then, correct?
So the chapter PowerPoints, generational cohort PowerPoint, the resume video and PowerPoint, and that's it. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
So let me pull up another question. And there, by the way, there are, let's see, 50 questions. Yeah. Okay. For 50 questions, I might make it a little longer, an hour and a half. I might make it longer. Does that seem like too short of amount of time for 50 questions? Or I don't know, is that an adequate amount of time? I don't know. An hour and a half, what do you think?
It'd be helpful if it was longer.
Would you like more time? I can make it for 2 hours.
Two
Hard.
hours. Yeah.
What's that?
2 hours.
I can. I mean, I just have to do a little change, a couple changes, but I can do that.
I'd definitely be okay with more time.
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't sure. I mean, I don't know how normally I do about a minute per question, and then I'll add 50 minute, half 50% buffer. So I thought hour and a half is good, but if you want more time, we'll put more time. We can do 2 hours. So let me change that. Okay, cool. Okay, let me give you another question to see how you guys feel on this one. Which of the following is a potential source of sustainable competitive advantage for a business? Is it the human resources, the long hours of operation, having a website, or having low prices? So I'll let you think about that. Do this right now. It takes too long. Where did it go? It takes too long. Let's just look at this. Okay, so I'll let you say what you think about the answer, and then if you can say it, it's easier for me than just reading the chat.
Is it human resources?
Number 1. Okay, so we have 1 for number 1, human resources. Anybody else? 1, 2, 3, or 4? I have to hear 3 correct answers before I'll tell you whether or not you're right. But I want to hear it rather than see it. If you don't mind talking, you just have to unmute yourself by clicking the little button that looks like a microphone with the line across through it. And then as soon as you're done, you can mute yourself again if you want.
I will say having a website.
Okay, number three. Anybody else? We have 2 answers. Okay, fine. Put it in the chat feature if you want to talk.
This is Gabe. I say number 2.
You say number 2. Okay. Anybody else?
Website.
Websites. We got 2 for website. I'm gonna read the chat too. I think maybe you guys just don't want to say it. Maybe you just don't like talking. So I see number 3 website. Okay. I'm still not hearing the right answer from enough people, so I'll just tell you. So the correct answer is actually human resources. Human resources are one of the biggest sources of sustainable competitive advantage over all others. And the reason is Look at the sustainable competitive advantage. Sustainable competitive advantage means something that we can sustain. We can keep our advantage over the competition. You cannot, you cannot keep most advantages over the competition because they can copy you, right? Or you know, whatever you're doing well, they can see that and they can do it themselves well. They can take it away somehow. They can do something better. Low prices are almost never a source of sustainable competitive advantage. And the reason is, no, I'll ask this. Why do you think that is? Why do you think, we'll start with low prices. Why would low prices not be sustainable competitive advantage? And it's the sustainable that's getting us. What do you think?
Because everything over time gets more expensive. So if you maintain low prices, then eventually you're going to either get priced out or you're just not going to be able to afford to keep up.
Mm-hmm. And what's that? What do you mean by priced out?
Your competition. Eventually your competition, or either they'll raise their prices or their quality of work, and your customers will start going to them because they'll start thinking that you're a value.
Absolutely. The price is probably the easiest thing to copy. If my only advantage over you is that my product costs $5 and yours costs $6, what's to stop you from charging $5? Almost nothing, right? If there was something behind that, yes, maybe. But price is one of those that anybody can copy, right? Anybody can copy. And it's usually the biggest company that wins. The most established company, the company that can beat you in a price war. So never sustainable on that one. A website, everybody has a website. Everybody has a website. And if you're doing something right in your website, they can copy your website. Long hours of operation, that's wonderful, right? That's a great thing to have. It's definitely an advantage for customers. But if it works for one, it'll work for another, right? Why wouldn't I have long hours? Now, human resources, those are people. How do you copy people? How do you copy what people know, who they know, the experience that they have, their drive, their passion, their skill, their personality, all of the things that make them unique? You can't copy them. A unique, highly trained, dedicated, motivated workforce is gold. There's nothing better, and it's very difficult for people to copy. Right? Think about the difference shopping at Walmart and shopping at Costco. Think about the difference ordering a hamburger at In-N-Out versus a hamburger at what's a bad, I don't eat a lot of fast food, but some other place, right? That they don't treat their employees well. So it's number one. So there's a couple questions. Both of those, I'll go ahead and put both of those on the test. So you'll see them again. If you were here today, you'll get them right now. Yeah, so that's that. Resumes. One other thing about resumes. When you upload the resume, I really highly recommend that you actually upload a PDF version of the resume rather than a Word. The reason I say that is because Word can be different depending on the version that people have, and you can, you can submit it and it looks one way, and by the time I get it, it's totally different. So I recommend saving a PDF version of your website and then submitting that. I'm going to show you guys something else here. Oh, you can't see my screen. Sorry about that. Show the screen. Okay. So a couple other things. If you notice also on the resume, there was the little QR code. And I talk about how to actually put a QR code on your resume. Do you guys know where the QR code takes the viewer? Where does the QR code go? Where does it take you? If I scan it, it takes you to where? Is it your link?
LinkedIn.
Yeah,
LinkedIn, our website.
yeah, it's okay if you guys talk over each other too. Don't worry about that. I'm always worried when I'm in those online classes too about talking over other people. It's fine. But yeah, I think I heard 2 or 3 people say it to your website or to LinkedIn. Yep, exactly. Please do put your QR code on that resume. Make sure that you have an objective statement on the resume. Make sure that.
Oh, sorry, I have a quick question.
Shoot.
If we don't have a LinkedIn yet, do we just post? Do we need to create one then now?
Placeholder, later we are going to be creating one for this class, but you don't need to do it right now. Excuse me. you can just put a placeholder there. By that, I mean, you might, like, if this was my resume, let's see. If this was my resume here, you could just put a picture of a QR code that takes me nowhere. I'm not going to follow the link right now. Or you could put in there the link, right? So maybe you could just put, you know, like LinkedIn, right? Even though it's not effective right now or active right now, because I'm not going to be following it right now. I will eventually. So yeah, just make sure you remember that it's placeholder so that when you give it to somebody, they can actually access it.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Thomas. Other questions from anyone about about anything at all? I feel for you all. I know this is really hard times, and I appreciate your tenacity and your, is stick-to-itiveness a word? If not, it should be. You guys you're doing a good job, and it's not easy. So I applaud you. Yeah, I appreciate everything. I'll put the information for you. Sorry about the Tuesday debacle with our class, but hopefully that won't happen again. And oh, just because we're having a midterm on Tuesday does not mean we are not coming together. I'll be here. If you have any questions for me, you can ask me. And even about the exam, I'm happy to help if you have questions about that. And it's not due until midnight on Thursday, so, or almost midnight, 1:59. Oh, and don't, please don't miss the test. It is so hard to reopen after it closes, because I wanted to share with you the correct answers after it was done. And the only way I could do that was to actually have an end date for the test. And so I can't open it back up again because you'll have access to the answers. So it's going to make a nightmare if you don't do the test on time. So please try. But if you have tech trouble, just take a picture, screenshot of the trouble, and then shoot me an email, and we will, as long as it's before the deadline, we'll be able to get you a new version or reopen it for you. Questions from anybody?
I was wondering, are we still turning in the PowerPoints, like when we fill in the blanks?
Oh, yes. Oops. Yes, you will be turning in the PowerPoints. I haven't put that in the, thank you for reminding me. I haven't put an upload for that. I'll do that. Hopefully before next week. If not, remind me again. So we'll put an assignment for you. I haven't uploaded that. So thank you. Other questions from anyone? Cute picture of your dog. Adorable.
As far as turning in the PowerPoints, I don't have Word document on my computer. I just been doing it on my journal.
Yeah.
Will I be able to turn that in somehow?
Yeah, you'll still be able to turn it in. We have a couple of different options. So have you been like printing them and then just like filling in the blanks, or have you been doing it?
No, I just read out the entire PowerPoint out on my journal. So I have it like physical paper copy.
Okay, so then yeah, you'll make more work for the TC, but or I'm sorry, for the TA, but it'll be okay. Yeah, I'll make it so that you can upload different kinds of
Okay, thank you.
files. So it'll be Word, PowerPoint, and PDF. Yeah, no worries. She'll probably be cursing you, but yeah, that's okay. Any questions? Other questions for me? What I have here. Everybody doing okay? Hanging in there? How are you guys doing with social distancing? Covering your coughs?
I hate it.
I hate it too. Whoever said that, was it Sean that said that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it either. I'm not a big fan. Yeah. Oh, hi, Melvin. That's awesome. Good job wearing your, what is it called? PP, personal protective equipment? Your mask.
PPE. They pretty much came down and they said that if you run a business or you own a business, then you have to provide it for all your employees.
Yeah.
So here I sit with all my gear on.
Yeah. So if you are an entrepreneur right now, there are a lot of opportunities for providing PPE. Actually, one of the things we're doing in the Entrepreneurship Center, I just got off of the phone a little bit earlier today. We're making these hand sanitizer little. Let me see if I have one. These little hand sanitizers, and selling them to raise some money for the student teams who are, in the rec. So there's a lot of things that we can be doing. I see people saying they're going a little stir crazy. I am not an indoors person. I am used to always being out and about. Yeah, it's driving me crazy too. Anybody else have anything to add before we call it a day? Thank you all for coming. I will see you all on Tuesday for the exam, and thank you for your understanding with that crazy day last Tuesday. And I will talk to you soon. Oh yeah, and it was funny because I know people were saying they were trying to even call me. You couldn't get a hold of me. But anyways, bye. Good to see you. Bye, Melvin. I'll see you soon.
Professor, real quick, a lot of the workshops I've been on, but I haven't been like taking pictures or screenshots or anything for
Yeah,
the credit. So
you just
what do I
just
do
put
about-
a little note in there for me.
Okay.
I know you've been there. I've seen you at all of them. So yeah, no, it's mostly just for, if I don't know somebody very well, then I can see that they were there. But I know you. It's fine.
Yeah, I met most of them.
Yeah. I've seen you at almost all of them. Oh, by the way, on Friday we're having an angel conference. Everybody who wants to leave can leave. If you want to stick around and talk to me, I'm here. The angel investors are coming on Friday.
Is that something that we have to do through Eventbrite, or are you just going to send the link through Slack?
It's there's an Eventbrite for it, but I also sent out an announcement in Slack, and then you can also go through the calendar if you want.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think I may have either said maybe or yes to it. So
Okay.
as soon as you click maybe or yes, it shows up on your calendar. It gives me a reminder. So I just didn't know if
Good.
it was going to give me a link or a link through Eventbrite, because sometimes Eventbrite you have to get a ticket. Even though it's free, you have to get a ticket, and then it gives you a code.
Yeah. So is it better? Do you like it better if we do our events just putting them on the calendar and
Yes, very much so. Like I said, with Eventbrite, once the event starts, you can't go in until the event starts, and then you have to get the code from Eventbrite in order to join the conference.
Oh, okay, so I'll make sure that they put codes in there in the calendar as well. So those of you who don't know and who are still here with me, and this recording is so we can show everybody, you can always find the event in the calendar on the where is it? It's the district website. It's through Miramar's entrepreneurship program, and then you go to the Rec Innovation Lab, which is over on the side, and then it takes you to this calendar, and it takes you to this page, and the calendar is right there, right? And we have events coming up all the time. This is the one I was talking to you about. But I put, see, they're just doing the Eventbrite. So I'll start putting the link. Oh no, it's right there.
Yeah, there it is. That's perfect. So even if it shows up like that, that's perfect. There's some events that you have to go through Eventbrite. You have to get a ticket through Eventbrite, and then it gives you a code. And in order to get in, you got to present that code. And it's not hard, but it's just a matter of having to write stuff down or write down the code before you get in. So I mean, it's not hard, but it's just an extra step. That nobody needs that extra nonsense. Now there's a couple that I can't change, like the ones that are either doing it like in collaboration with SDSU or somebody else. I can't change those, but the ones that are ours, I can always make sure to put them on here. But I would ask that if you do this, then make sure then to accept the calendar invitation, because
I had a quick question. There was 2 of these Ask Angels, both at 5. Is there a difference between the 2 on the calendar, or are they both?
No, it shows it 2 different ways because the calendar, because there's it's just the way the calendar was inputted.
Okay.
So yes, sorry about that. I've noticed that started happening once we joined a couple calendars together, but they're the same thing. Yeah, sorry. Anybody else have any questions? Or I'm always touching my face, but I figure I haven't left my house in a long time and I'm not going anywhere, so I'm touching my face. Yeah. Questions from anybody else? Cool. All right, guys, I'll see you again soon. Have a good one. Take care of yourselves. And thanks for, like Melvin, those of you out there still working. I mean, that's amazing. I commend you. Bye, everyone.